Welcome to the Yappin podcast. I'm your host, Rafa. Let's start yapping. So it is Tuesday, July 8th, and ICE is still running all over town, all over the place, uh, gathering up people. And I know some of you have issues with it. A lot of you actually have issues with it. You think it's only Mexicans. You believe that it's this and that. And I just want to ask a simple question. How did Obama round up 3+ million people? Did they just show up? Like, did he send them an invite somewhere and they just showed up? Like, hey guys, well, we invited you to this bullshit party, but we're really just taking you in. Or do you guys actually believe that these people went to their court dates? If you really believe that, you were as ignorant as they come. And it is a shame that what some of these people are doing to these ICE officers. There was an attack over the weekend. I think it actually happened July 4th in Texas at a holding facility for these people where they were shooting fireworks out. Uh, the officers inside the building called for help. The city they were in, small town, they send one officer and he gets shot by a rifle from the woods. And so it turns out they arrested, I don't know, like 7 or 8 people. When you see some of these names, so there was 3 Latinos, the other 5 or 6 or whatever the amount was were for sure white. 2 were transgender, transitioning. No shock there, obviously. That is the liberal makeup. That is the makeup of a liberal for sure. There's
Do
got
you
to
want the
be a
names?
yeah. Let's hear the names. Give me the AKA ones first, though. I like to hear that.
So the defendants are Cameron Arnold.
Also known
Savannah.
as.
we don't. We don't know. I don't know the name.
Okay, all right.
This is the court document, so they're not bringing up
There's
the
two. There's two that I read this morning that I think
really.
it's Cameron Arnold and Autumn something, or maybe she is Autumn now and whatever. But anyways,
So I got Cameron Arnold. I got Savannah Batten. I have Nathan Banman, Zachary Evans, Joy Gibson, Bradford Morris, Marcelia Rita, Seth Sykes, Elizabeth Soto, and Ines Soto. So we got
yeah.
siblings in there.
So yeah, so there's a couple siblings in there. There's two persons, they them's, he hers, 2 motherfuckers that are transitioning is what it is, or already did, because I know one of them transitioned a name of Autumn and the other one of whatever the fuck. So it's one boy to girl, one girl to boy, but whatever. Attacking federal officers, attacking anyone and trying to ambush them because they lit up fireworks beforehand, before this happened, is ridiculous, is uncalled for. Listen, you want to protest these raids, fine. Do it on a sidewalk somewhere. Don't attack these people. Here where I live, a sheriff friend of mine has told me he told me he's been called in because they found out where these ICE and Border Patrol agents are staying here in the city that I'm in, and they've had small gatherings outside of where they're staying. It's mostly white liberal women.
As
It's
this picture defines. I
it
got the defendants up right here for you.
here are the defendants. Wow, Jesus Christ! Look at this group. I voted for Kamala for sure in this group of people here. The guy in the middle, he looks like the ringleader just because he looks like he's the oldest motherfucker. But yeah, if we look at it long enough, we'll find the 2 that transitioned. And then we got the freak show right in the middle, who for sure ran the fucking thing. So these people are being charged with attempted murder. They're being charged with aggravated assault, handful of things. So let's see what they do. This happened in Texas. It's happening in a lot of places all over the country. You saw yesterday here in MacArthur Park. And for those of you who are not familiar with MacArthur Park here in Los Angeles, it is a place where they sell fake IDs, fake matriculas, fake socials, ton of homeless. Um, it's kind of in the center there of LA, near downtown. Uh, it's a place where if you need anything illegal, you can get it right away. And so the mayor yesterday the mayor, Karen Bass. I almost called her Kevin Bass.
I think you were spot on.
Yeah, she could be a Kevin, but Mayor Karen Bass, the communist known as Karen Bass, and a lot of you don't know that because you don't do any research, and that's just right on the internet, not hard to look up. But anyway, she asked ICE agents to leave the city, leave the state, yada yada yada, and hopefully ICE doesn't give a shit. And
Here's
get
Karen Bass.
Yes, and but let's hear what Karen Bass had to say yesterday. If CJ has it.
So I am going to. Mayor Bass, I need to get my phone in the room with the party. Karen Bass.
Any comment, Mayor Bass?
Thank you.
Mayor Bass, any comment?
Yes, my comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
Who did you speak with?
Just wait and see.
Mayor Bass,
They will be leaving soon.
Mayor Bass, who did you speak with on the phone just now? Who did you speak with on the phone?
The head of customs.
Wow.
Who did she speak with on the phone? Did that bitch say a customer?
I think she said head of customs.
Ah, I figured. But the text on the bottom said customer. What is this bitch selling? So, but she's been a terrible mayor. I mean, let's be real. And you know, that show that she put on, they need to leave now. They're doing you a favor, kind of cleaning up MacArthur Park a little bit because you don't do it. So MacArthur Park will be back to normal today. If you need a fake ID, a matricula, fake social, fake job permit, they got it down there. You just do this. If you do this, CJ, and I don't know, you probably never been down there because you don't
Hell
drive
no.
any
No.
bad
Nope.
But that is the key. You drive down there and you'll see them and they go like this to you, right? Like if they're holding their ID, they go like this. They're not holding anything. They do that, and then boom, done deal. Done deal.
That sounds like some movie shit.
At 1,000%, I will fucking take you. There's like 4 places here in LA.
You're not taking me anywhere near them motherfuckers.
I will take you. We don't have to get out of the car, CJ. We'll fucking take you in the car. We'll do it. And I promise you, you will not fucking believe it. Because people, if you clip this part of the show, which I think you should, people will not believe it. But that is an actual fucking thing. And there's places like that, I'm sure, in Miami. There's places like that in New York. In LA, we have them here. I know at least of 4 that you do the little boom, and you got yourself a fake ID. I mean, 60, 70, 80, whatever the fuck it is. And it's not only fake IDs. It's matriculas. It's all sort. It's fake socials. It's all sorts of shit. So they do decent work down there in MacArthur Park. For some of you young kids looking for a fake ID, that's where you go. But don't say that I told you it was there.
Yeah, don't put that advice out.
Don't blame that on me. But this weekend we had a lot of things going on. Obviously, we had that shooting down there at an ICE holding border patrol holding area in Texas. We also had the floods in Texas, which a sad story. We tragic. Now we have I believe it's over 100 people that have passed. You have all these people on the internet blaming Trump. You have and CJ, you're black, but I'm going to call out some of these black women,
yes,
who have made
100%.
these videos on Instagram talking about you get what you deserve. You voted for that. First of all, you know how many kids died? Kids don't vote,
right?
And you had another lady come on and say that it's a whites only camp.
Yep.
You had that refuted by somebody who posted videos of the older group of girls. I mean, it's just the racist comments going on with this. You got other idiots blaming Trump because he fired people from the national weather, whatever the fuck. They ended up firing people in February. They sued. They got their jobs back. They got laid off again. 7%. It was 7.3% of the staff was laid off. You can remove 7.3% of the active Oklahoma City Thunder roster. They still win an NBA title. You can remove 7% of anything, and you should still be able to get your job done. Literally. 7.3% tells me that, you know what I took out? I fired the DEI hires. I fired the people who don't deserve their job, who their jobs are not needed, some bureaucrat bullshit job that they got. Okay, that's a position that is probably not needed, more than likely, because when you cut 7% of any company, of any sports team, 7.3% shouldn't affect your job, period. That's the bottom line. You want to use that as an excuse? You want to blame Donald Trump for cloud seeding in Central Texas? Because that's what it seems like it is. They got warning at 1:14 in the morning. I have a friend who lives near there, about 40 minutes southwest of where this happened, okay? That's where my friend moved there. He lives there, all right? They got an alert at 1:14 a.m. There was a bulletin. There was text. They were alerted of flash floods. There was another alert sent at 5:34 a.m. He sent them to me, by the way. So I have them because I have all these idiots who send me things. Oh, this, that, and yada, yada, yada. So you have to find out for yourself. Man, maybe these idiots are wrong. Maybe they're right. They're hardly ever right. Let's be real. These liberals act on heart, on feelings. They don't use facts for anything. So I wanted to ask, right? So yeah, my buddy texted me both bulletins, 1:14 in a.m., 5:34 a.m. It is very clear. It is very clear stated there. Flash flood warnings in these 3 cities. Okay. And I have it on my phone, and I should have sent it to CJ. He could have put it up. So they were made aware of this. I know 1:14 in the morning, maybe you don't get it, you're asleep. 5:34 in the morning, still. But to sit here and say that these people deserved it because they might have voted for Donald Trump, which you're just assuming because they live in Central Texas. So you're assuming that they voted for Donald Trump. It doesn't matter who they voted for. Does that really matter? How terrible of a person do you have to be to actually say that?
Can I pose something for you, Rafa?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pose 2 things for you. For one, to your point, these people in Austin, Texas, Austin of all places, the most liberal city in Texas, the most blue city in Texas, where most of them, a overwhelming majority of them, voted for Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and every other Democrat that has ever run for anything. 2, people are talking about the National Weather Service being defunded. Did the National Weather Service under Joe Biden stop the Maui fires? Did the National Weather Service under Joe Biden stop the North Carolina fires or floods? It doesn't seem like funding an institution is going to stop Mother Nature from doing what the fuck Mother Nature is going to do.
100%. 100%. But CJ, you're using common sense. You can't use common sense with these people because they're not rational people. They act on feelings. They don't you see that every month it's a different cause for these people? The gays have to be irate about June.
Right.
You had ICE, you had Iran. The gays weren't paraded around like only in West Hollywood that they have their parade, but they weren't fucking paraded around and praised for 30 days like they usually are, because you had the Iran deal. You had the ICE deal going on. Feel sorry for the gays. You lost your month there for a little bit. Too bad. So, but these people, CJ, they're not rational people. They act on feeling. They don't fact check anything. They don't look up anything. That's just it. Just is it is. They forget that, and that's the difference with Republicans, right? And I'll tell you right now, and that'll kind of jump into the next kind of segment that we can talk about. So you text me yesterday, and I got a text from 2 other people saying, "What is Trump doing, sending weapons to Ukraine?" Because we as voters, as people who voted for Donald Trump, we feel, just like as we said on this show, that we didn't think that a war with Iran would be good. And luckily, we didn't have a war with Iran. We bombed them. They pretended to bomb back, as it happened in 2020. And basically all said and done, and it seems like we have a ceasefire for now. So, but when you send me that message, can't believe what Trump's doing with Ukraine. I got a message from 2 other people, the same thing. This is not what we voted for. 100%. It is not what we voted for. It is not what we voted for. We voted for an Epstein list. We're not getting an Epstein list. We voted to not fucking fund any wars, try and end the war in Ukraine, and now we're sending them weapons, which to me, I don't like. And I disagree with Donald Trump on this. But I can do that. A liberal for 4 fucking years could not admit, and the media couldn't admit it, and now they're starting to admit it because now it's over. The Biden administration is done with. So now we start seeing the stories. Oh, and we have to sit here and believe that fucking Jake Tapper didn't think that this fucking dude was barely alive? Are we fucking out of our minds? Like, we want to just pretend. Now you guys want, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. We were telling you that for 4 years, that this man was delusional, that he wasn't there, that probably 2% of his fucking brain was working. But you guys couldn't admit it. No liberal influencer, not Harry the fucking sissy, not the other puto, none of them could go on social media and admit it. Go on social media this morning and look at the Republican and conservative influencers and see what they're saying about the Epstein list. See what they're saying about sending weapons to Ukraine. They're giving Trump shit. See what they're talking about with Iran. The mistake that what we thought initially before, the Iran deal kind of happened, right? And when it was being talked about, a lot of conservative influencers went out there and said, "I don't agree with this. Trump's gonna this will tarnish his presidency and yada yada yada." And we saw basically, like I said, the same thing we saw in 2020. Boom, 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 pew, pew, pew. Fucking shit's over, right? At least for now. So we're gonna hold Trump accountable on these 2 things, right? And you saw Fox News yesterday ask the White House secretary. He asked her. Pam Bondi said this, and this. That was a question that came from Fox News. I didn't see what CNN asked her. I saw the question that Fox News asked, and they asked a fucking question that every journalist and every news outlet or people who voted for Donald Trump want to know.
Right.
We want to know. And so, we'll see if Pam Bondi resigns. I think she will, because she didn't live up to what she said she was. I believe she will resign. I think the pressure will crack her. Now, and people don't want to admit this, and nobody here will ever admit it, that there's a deep state, right?
Yes.
There's a group of elites. And while people don't want to believe that, it is actually a fucking thing. Do you think it's a coincidence that Barack Obama's chef just drowned in a lake? Like, at his home? That's a coincidence to you? Do we think it's a coincidence that this man hangs himself? Jeffrey Epstein supposedly hangs himself in a cell that has 24-hour complete surveillance? We want to just believe that the guard walked away when the guard, it's not his job to do, and we want to believe that? We think those are coincidences? Do we believe that all of the people that have died who have been in Hillary Clinton's way, and the list is endless, do you think that's a coincidence? I cannot believe that you actually believe that. You may think it's a conspiracy theory. These people actually died under some weird ways of dying. Look at the story in Minnesota 3 weeks ago that we talked about, or 2 weeks ago. That's off the news. It's completely off. It's done with.
Right.
What did that man know? What did that woman know? That were killed. You think they're gonna kill a lady, a state official, a state elected official? Are they just gonna kill her for siding with the Republicans on one simple thing? I don't believe that. She had to have known something else. There had to be something else known. So for the Epstein list to not come out when we've heard so many things about it, now all of a sudden Diddy's off on 3 of the 5 charges. What does Diddy know? I'll tell you what kind of is news out there, that someone owes Diddy about $2 billion, a company that's worth about 80 billion, and they owe him $2 billion. Could they be the ones behind Diddy not getting out? Could they be the ones behind these charges? But Diddy might have shit on bigger people, on more important people. And people don't believe that. Oh, they don't believe it. They just can't believe.
So
that
that's your
those
official stance, that Diddy got off because somebody owes him a tremendous amount of money.
$2 billion he's owed by a company that is worth 81 billion is what the exact rumor is. And I saw this a long time ago. I saw this maybe about 9 months ago. Somebody sent it to me. Patrick Bet-David talked about it the other day on his show. And so, there's, for you to not believe, why do people think that we keep helping Israel? Do you think it's just because it's, do you think it's just because, it's their placement where their country's located and they're in the Middle East and they're the only country in the Middle East that's not Muslim? Do you really believe that's what it is? Do we really believe that's what it is? Or can we actually maybe think that the person who holds our biggest debt, whether the internet lists this Japan, is not that it could be Israel, that it could be some Jews? Could that be it? Because that's a huge conspiracy that goes on. That is a huge conspiracy that goes on. We can't explain why we always help Israel, because the excuse that we keep getting seems to be a little bullshit. They force these wars on themselves. With the exception of the Hamas thing, that was different. Hamas attacked them, October 6th, etc. Right? But the Iran deal here, you're fighting over there with Hezbollah, and man, I said that good, didn't I? Fuck.
No, you butchered the fuck out of it, but it's okay.
All right. Well, tomato.
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah, them motherfuckers north of them. But they fight. They're always involved in these things. And why? Because the fucking big bad United States comes and saves them every fucking time. Why is that? Because they're our ally? Ukraine was our ally, and we're doing is sending them weapons and laundering money for the last 5 fucking years. So I to me, if you get deep into conspiracy theory dives, you will see that the Jews, a lot of high-ranking positions in this country, in these companies that control a lot of businesses and a lot of big corporations that you don't even understand what they control, are run by Jews. So I'm not sitting here and bashing the Jews. I'm just sitting here and telling you, there's probably a reason we're not getting the Epstein list, is because it involves some fucking high-profile Jew who was running that whole fucking thing with another fucking Jew. Okay? That could be one. The other is like what all the Democrats are believing. Number one, Elon Musk had no access to even see what that list looks like. Okay? Like, as much as they may be boys or they were boys or whatever, there's a certain amount of clearance that you need to have. Elon didn't have that much clearance. Oh, but he did this and that and da-da-da-da-da. That was money. That was in regards to money. It's just a common sense thing to say. And if we look at it, what harms Trump more than anything at this point? Because Trump doesn't give a fuck about immigration. He doesn't give a shit what people in California, Illinois, or New York think about him. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many people in California, New York, or Illinois gave a fuck about him. A Republican will never win those states, right? So that doesn't matter. To him, that doesn't matter. But what matters to him, not getting this Epstein list out, that's harming to him, right? Now, what could be even worse? You not letting the list out, and now maybe Elon knows you're not letting the list out. Elon's going to say you're not letting the list out because you're on it.
Right.
And at the same weekend, now that happened a couple weeks back. They kind of became friends again. Now it's basically like a fuck you because of the EV. They're not giving as much EV mandate crap,
Write-offs.
EV
Right.
write-offs for the electric vehicle bullshit. So it might affect Tesla a little bit. I don't believe it will, but it might affect them a little. So that happens, right? And now all of a sudden you're forming a new party. How could you get the people from that support Trump over to your new bullshit America First party?
Can I prompt you on this, Rafa? I think
Yeah.
I want to prompt you on this a little bit because this only hurts Republicans. This does not hurt Democrats. So I don't understand why he would be funding a right-wing party when there's already a right-wing party.
Because he's always been a Democrat. Elon Musk has always been a Democrat. So he's doing this because Trump in his eyes, Trump fucked him on the bill, right? Elon's the richest person in the world. He believes he's the smartest person in the world, which he very well could be the smartest person in the world, right?
Right.
So for him, for you to kind of bring him in and he endorsed you and Elon can believe, that he helped you get elected or whatever, and now you kind of stabbed him in the back. He wants to take your voters away. He doesn't want to take the other voters away because at the end of the day, both the left aligns with everything that he needs to run his companies.
Right.
The Green Deal, this and that. That's what he needs. That's why he's always been a Democrat. He doesn't give a fuck about paying XYZ amount of money in taxes. He can almost be a trillionaire. So he doesn't give a shit. He wants to pull Trump's people, Trump's voters to his side. What better way to do it than Epstein list isn't coming out? Maybe Elon knew it wasn't coming out before he left.
Right.
So the list isn't coming out because Trump's on it. That's why he's telling you that. Because in reality, we could maybe say, well, maybe there was no list. Maybe it was just all some make-believe bullshit. Maybe there's just flight logs.
Right.
Right? So, because if Trump was on the list and it was already, there's plenty of pictures of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein over the years, just like there's plenty of pictures of Hillary Clinton and there might have been some George Bush and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. And we know the painting that was in Jeffrey Epstein's house. We saw it pull out where it was Bill in Monica's blue dress. Everyone's seen that painting. It's an iconic painting, to be honest with you. And probably after Bill Clinton passes, somebody will buy it for a shit ton of money. It's an iconic piece. So to me, that I can see that happening. That's a little bit, far-fetched, a little bit conspiracy theory-like, but it kind of makes a little bit of sense. Listen, I'm going to say this because I know the list is not coming out. The list is not coming out because Trump is on it. Now he fucks me on this EV bill where these people aren't going to get all the money back that they were getting when they're buying a Tesla or whatever. I'm going to fuck him there, right? He's fucking me. So now I'm going to start my own party and I'm going to be able to pull the people that don't get the Epstein list that are going to be upset about it. That has to be his train of thought, right? And Mark Cuban, another idiot. Oh, I would join that party and yada, yada, yada. That's another Democrat. And I believe that he has to be a Democrat because of the business that he's in, because he's an NBA owner. Most NBA players coming from nothing always grew up Democrats. Now they have a talent. They didn't actually, they put their hard work into it, but it didn't cost them anything to build that. Right. So, and I will always stick by that. And I don't give a shit. They're elite athletes, just like they're singers and all that. Most of them are Democrats because at the end of the day, just like TikTok influencers that make $5, 10, 15, $20 million, they didn't actually put their money, invest their money into something like that. It doesn't cost you any money to fucking create content, at least not in the very beginning. So I'm not going to sit here and get into that shit, but that's just will always be my stance on athletes and rock stars and actors. Like most of you came from nothing. So you didn't build anything. You literally built nothing. You're a hell of you have a skill, but you didn't build anything. So, but anyways, so that is my take on this whole Trump and Elon, Trump and Iran bullshit. That shit's done with. The Ukraine thing though, CJ. How is that affect? If you had to vote this November, if you had to vote this November, would you just not vote?
Okay, so you got to add a little more context there. Voting in November, I got to know who's on the ticket. You got to give me 2 tickets.
Gavin Newsom, or we'll repeat the same ticket as last time. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, and the election, and you know now what you know. Are you voting? Are you changing your vote?
You know why I'm not changing my vote? Is because I understand that the damage that Kamala would have done to the country is so much more significant than us not getting an Epstein list, than us sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine. No, I'm not, because if you give me a different ticket on the Democratic side, I may just stay home. I'm not voting Democrat because they have nothing to offer me right now. But if you give me a good, decent Democratic ticket, and knowing what I know now, yeah, I'm probably not voting.
Okay. I wanted to get your take on that, because I know a lot, like I said, I know a lot of Republicans are upset about the Epstein list. They're upset about the arms to Ukraine. And listen, they don't want to come to the table, obviously, right? Ukraine, I feel like Ukraine needs this war to keep going, to keep funding their country, to be honest with you.
Right.
And we haven't seen much from there lately.
No.
I and I don't know if we haven't seen much from there lately because of everything else we have going on. We had the Iran thing going on in this last month. We have the ICE thing going on all over the country, at least in the major sanctuary cities. So, and let me ask you, will this ICE protest crap be over after summer? Because I believe it will. But you don't think
so. No. Not when you have to. Not at this point. Trump has broken a few campaign promises very early, and we've only been 6 months in. Okay. And so when you look at polling, the only thing that he polls right now positive from when he was first elected is immigration. So that is a campaign promise that is easy to get people like me, who are, center, and people like you, to be like, okay, yeah, that's still something that we got to accomplish.
Yeah, well, he pulled last week like a 64% approval rate. I'd like to see what it is this week after the weekend, after what's kind of gone on with the Epstein list and what's gonna, him sending weapons to Ukraine. Yeah. Now, let me ask you, and I don't know if you've seen this because it's more international news. Have you seen the protests going on in Mexico?
Yes.
Can you double standard, right?
Double standard.
Double standard.
The people of Mexico are not happy that they have immigrants, that they have other Southern American immigrants and even American immigrants. I saw a video of a tourist guide saying, hey, I'm going to alert our authorities if we see Americans, because we don't want immigrants in our country. I said, what? Really?
Well, Mexico's always been very tough with immigrants, right? And so the only reason that they're allowed to caravan from El Salvador through Mexico, at least they were in Guatemala and through Mexico, right? I believe it's from Guatemala. But you can, the only reason that they're allowed to caravan through there was because they were basically like being assisted all the way up. And, these idiots who don't believe that the cartels run Mexico, they do. And the party that's currently in place is very, very heavily involved. And they control that entire country. That party right now controls everything there. So they are but they've been for years. The cartels have been involved in running. So they're literally running these people. They were running these caravans up through their country, and with the assistance of the cartel. But you saw in a lot of the small towns that they didn't want these people lingering and hanging around there.
Right.
And you're starting to see it. Because people don't want to admit this, but Mexicans in Mexico, like actual Mexicans that live in Mexico, are racist as fuck.
Racist as hell.
They're racist as fuck. So imagine now these people are asking you, they're fucking kill gringo, fuck gringos, all sorts of shit down there.
Right.
Imagine. And here you have the American ones that are born here of Mexican descent fucking going wild because the ones that are here illegally are getting deported. And they're not all just Mexicans. There's plenty of Asians that have been deported. Vietnamese, Chinese.
Haitian.
I know like
Yeah.
maybe 3 or 4 Cubans that have been deported from here.
Haitians.
I had plenty of Haitians, plenty of Guatemalans, plenty of Salvadorians, a handful of Brazilians, couple of Colombians. I mean, listen, it's not just happening to Mexicans. It is happening to everyone that is illegal. And, I know you guys are all emotional about, the lady at Home Depot with the 3 kids. That lady was probably a drug dealer. I'm just saying. My buddy's connection is a woman. She's a woman who works at Food for Less. Just so you know, it's a great gig. That's his connection. So when you see her ass get dragged out of Food for Less, don't feel bad. She's loaded. It's like these people that aren't, to me, like when you know somebody that uses occasionally, and then you see their connect, and seriously, I'm telling you the truth. And people aren't going to tell you this shit, but I'm going to tell you this shit right here. When you see people that use, and they're not overusing it, it's just for recreation, right? And they use, when you see their connect, you're like, oh, would have never thought. Who would have thought in a Nissan Altima rolling through right here in Pacoima, right here in San Fernando, right here in Santa Clarita, just rolling through in a little Nissan Altima, and it's a lady. Hello. Or it's a fucking guy that's probably about 65 years old. Those are the people that you think are innocent. Those are the people that you think they've done nothing wrong. You have no fucking clue what these people have done right or wrong. You have zero clue. You're acting based on your fucking emotions, your feelings, what you're seeing. You're acting the same way you see when you see a guy getting the shit beat out of him by the police. That's how you're acting. You don't know what the fuck he did. You're just filming it and wondering, oh my God, you don't know what he did. So when you guys see these people getting beat the shit out of, the cops are beating the crap out of them, you instantly film. You don't know what they did. And then you go on your social media, you talk about how bad the cops are. They beat the shit out of this white guy. That never happens. You beat the shit. That happens. You just never film it. You beat the shit out of this Latino kid. You beat the shit out of this black kid. And there's no story behind it. All you have is a video. We don't know the story. They're doing the same thing right now with these ICE raids, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And to your point, CJ, you're probably right. Who knows when it probably doesn't end. It probably doesn't end.
No, yeah. I don't think it goes anywhere. It's the one campaign promise I think he's always going to pull very highly at. So that is what it is. I want to ask you a question. If you had to give this, like you asked me if I was voting, if I would vote just November, if I could vote again, what would you give this administration? We're nearing the 6-month mark. It's been rocky. There's been a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. What is your grade, and kind of elaborate on that?
I give him a C.
Okay.
And I give him a C as in just average, right? Like you haven't done, and I know, they signed a treaty between who is it, Uganda and
Zimbabwe or some shit like that.
What 2 African nations signed a peace treaty. They've been fighting for 30 plus years. Wonderful. You got Iran and Israel to ceasefire, but they weren't fighting before you came in the office. So I'm not going to give you any credit. I'm not going to give them any credit for that. The Epstein thing, that's a big fail. The Ukraine thing, the administration hasn't been able to stop that. and now we're sending weapons to Ukraine. That to me is an F. The immigration thing, that's an A+. You promised, the border crossings are down to basically almost nothing. That's an A+. So when we look at other things, you look at the stock market is rising. That's an A there. Gas prices in the majority of the country are down. The national average is down, lowest since 2021. Obviously, that's an A. Job creation last month exceeded by over 30,000+. What was kind of the calculation was about 115,000. They ended up getting about 147 new jobs. That's an A+. The Medicaid deal, which people are crying about, and it's simple. It's cut to people that aren't working when they can work.
Right.
The people that have disabilities, that cannot work, that have kids, that have to stay home to watch their kids, those aren't the ones that are getting cut. The ones that are getting cut are the ones like, Jimmy fucking Jones, who lives with his mother at 25 and doesn't have a job, or works fucking 16 hours at this and this place. Those are the ones that are getting cut, right? But the no tax, you have, no tax on overtime. You're going to have no tax on Social Security. You have no tax on a bunch of different things. So for me, that right there is like a B, right? So I grade them. I grade this.
Can I push back a little bit?
Right.
You're adding $5 trillion to the deficit.
Yeah, but when you got to look at it this way, CJ, he's adding $5 trillion to the deficit, but giving tax cuts to what, like 80% of Americans, 90% of Americans. God, there was my camera.
One, go.
So when you see the cuts, right? So the no taxes on this, no taxes on that. That's why it's adding that money to the deficit. He's adding $5 trillion, but he's adding $5 trillion to relieve people who are struggling and middle class work.
This is my issue with your generation and older generations, because this is the biggest deficit increase in our history, right? And we can't just keep inflating and bloating our spending. And this is something that my generation is going to have to reconcile with when you were your age. The fact that we keep just spending money.
What can I tell you? To me, there's nothing I could tell you. I prefer right now lower interest rates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer lower interest rates. I prefer that when the waiter gets a $30, $40, $50, $100 tip, I prefer that he doesn't have to give fucking, 30+% of that back.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer that.
All right.
So there's certain things I prefer. He's trying to push for no property tax, which would be insane.
It would be crazy.
Which should be fucking great, by the way.
Yeah. Yes,
so,
very true.
There's plenty of things, right? So, I'm okay with that right now, CJ. I really am. I'm okay with that right now. Anything
I'm not.
you have, because this is the thing. You have to remember, everyone is in the now. Most of these people are in the moment.
Right. Yes.
Right. And the majority of this country lives day to day.
Right.
A lot of this country lives day to day with as expensive as everything has been. They live day to day. So, you need to help people that live on the day to day.
Yeah.
So, that I see both sides.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I see both sides. That's just, I'm okay with it.
All right.
I'm okay with
it. All right.
Just letting you know. But
that's all I got for you, cuz.
That is it. Thank you for tuning in to the Yappin Podcast. Check us out. Make sure you subscribe. If you like anything we do, please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. If you don't like anything we do, still subscribe. Talk your shit. We will more than likely respond to you.